Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back. Big Willie Styles, DC1, Culture Boy Juan in the building. Dynasty Sports Network. Hey, we missed you guys, man. DC, Culture Boy, how y'all feeling today?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Glad to be back on here, man.
A little bittersweet, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a little upset about our boys going down today, man. Down 1-3, man. But it's still a good day, man. We living, we breathing, and we back on the tube with the people, man. So it's a good day.
Yeah, we
Yeah, yeah.
back. We back. Definitely we back. It's glad to be back. We've been on the hiatus for a little while. Have been having a lot of stuff going on recently that we're gonna get into. But first things first, of course, we got to get into the meat of the matter. The topic, the high topic of this discussion around these here parks is this Pistons versus Knicks game today. Game four. Pistons tough loss coming out uh, with the loss 94-93 in a very controversial way. Very controversial way. Um, Back and forth game started off real rocky for us early in the first half. Looked like they was going to run away with it in the first half. Uh, we closed out in the first half on a nice run to bring us back in the game. Second half, we came out, taking care of business, took the lead, took the lead all the way up into the fourth quarter, which we had a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter again. And then that's when all the fireworks started to happen. Of course, your boy Big Willie Styles and Coach Boy Juan was in the building for today as well as game three as well, which both of the games ended in some, seeming to be controversy. But today specifically, Coach Boy, I need you to take us into what it was like that the last seconds with those plays, man, with this with the non-calls, so to speak, that they would say that cost us the game. So I want you to go ahead and elaborate a little bit further.
Well, first off, man, shout out to the Bad Boy family. Shout out to LCA for putting on a great show, great
Yes,
event.
sir.
The arena was electric, same as Game Three. You can feel it in your spirit, like, and we never felt like we was gonna lose this game, but that anxiety did start to creep in. In the later stages of the game, later minutes, we was actually up like 8 points, around 8 points, with around the 8 minute mark, and I leaned over and I told y'all I was like, these next 4 minutes are gonna be crucial. Kay was on his way to the bench, and I'm like, this gonna be super crucial. And sure enough, man, we gave up another one of those runs where they outdueled us down the stretch. But Kyle Anthony Towns hit a couple big buckets down the stretch, same as Jalen Brunson. But we still had an opportunity to win the game down 1 point. I think it was like 13 seconds left. K got a decent look in the mid range around the free throw line that didn't go. A scramble ensued. Bridges dives for the ball. He can't get it. It squirts out to Tim Hardaway Jr. No Diddy.
Right, I
Tim
was gonna say
Hardaway.
a little bit of ditty right there.
Tim Hardaway, the savvy vet that he is, he wasn't having that great of a game, but he know in those moments it's time to make a play. He rolled the ball back to him. He got his puppy square behind the line. Head fake. He didn't go for it. Then he did like a slow hesitation into his upward shooting motion and was able to get Josh Hart to create the contact that the entire arena saw, all except the three guys in stripes who all of a sudden don't know what a foul is on a jump shot, which is peculiar to me, seeing that Jalen Brunson been giving them plenty of practice and calling that call all series. You got 4 games worth of practice to understand what that call is. And you've been calling it consistently in Jalen Brunson's favor, but all of a sudden, I guess you got hit with a Men in Black beam, and he couldn't figure out what a foul call was. Obviously, it was a foul, and as you guys can see, the NBA came back and reviewed it and confirmed what we already knew was a foul. And so
Right.
took the
DC
air
Reed,
out the arena. It was
yeah,
terrible, bro.
DC Reed, what is that? The official report after the game. See what and let the people know what is that the
So,
NBA officials
so
are saying.
the pool report is interviewed by Cody Davis of Detroit News with crew chief David Guthrie, followed by the Pistons Knicks game. Obviously, the question was, what did you see on the last series, and why was it a foul call on Tim Hardaway's Jr. 3-point attempt? Guthrie said during the live play, it was judged as Josh Hart made a legal defensive play. But after the post-game review, we observed that Hart makes body contact that is more than marginal to Hardaway Jr., and a foul should have been called.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, wow,
Shoulda,
wow.
coulda, East woulda.
Yeah.
Now, normally in these situations, usually after the game, the reports come back. You will see the refs would usually find a way to make this legitimate. You know, every time report, just like the last game when they're saying that Brunson's momentum carried him over the half court line and he didn't have full possession. Therefore, it wasn't a backcourt violation. But any other time, if you touch the ball in the backcourt and cross over, they usually call that. But during that time of the game, they define and say, "Oh, he didn't have full possession," which didn't make sense to me. So I'm saying that they made an excuse for that one. But this one they couldn't because it was clear as day. Because like you said, Culture Boy Wine, they have plenty of practices to show for when it comes to this particular call. Because Brunson had plenty of those types of calls, you know, and he won. And his calls was more peculiar because those are calls that weren't even supposed to have because they're supposed to be doing the West. But those types of calls where you're stepping into uh, a defender. This one wasn't it. Hardaway Jr. went straight up and then he did exactly what you're supposed to do. You get the defender in the air, you go up and down, you get to draw the contact, which he got body and head contact to draw the foul. This was a clear by the rule book drawing the foul like anything else. But like you said, either they were stuck in a moment, they swallowed the whistles, or whatever it was, cost us the opportunity. I ain't gonna say cost us the game because lo and behold, like I said, it could have been magically where he didn't make any of the free throws, which I doubt if he would have. He probably would have hit all of them. But at the same time, it cost us the opportunity. To be able to close this game out. Now we're down 3-1. We're a young team. That right there could be demoralized, and now we have to go back on the road and try to see how we can salvage the rest of this series, which it could be should be 2-2. In most people's eyes, we should be up 3-1. And if we really played the game like how we supposed to play and not being young and inexperienced, we could have been 4-zip sweeping them guys. But this is the playoffs. That's how things go. But this is going to be felt around here for a long time. But it's an experience, though, that we need to have.
Especially if this series don't come back to Detroit. It's definitely going to be felt, for a long time coming. And it'll be a part of these guys' story. That it's important that you mention the word experience, because we said in halftime, like we playing with house money, like, win or lose, this is an experience that these guys have to go through. It's a part of the maturation process in order to become the guys that they want to be in this league. So in order for them to even get to that point, you got to go through situations like this. You got to be, on the other side of bad whistles. And one other thing that you said of note is you said TSJ did what he was supposed to do. See, a lot of people in those scenarios, they'll be quick to say, well, he shouldn't have been trying to get the foul. He should have been trying to knock down the shot and win the game. Well, that's the crazy thing about it. He did. He went in a normal upward shooting motion in order to get the bucket. Obviously, the contact was more than marginal to the letter of the law, more than marginal, and it had an effect on his shot and the trajectory of the ball. He had no opportunity to win the game if he's going to be fouled, and they're not going to be held accountable for that foul, man. So, terrible call, but like you said, man, we shouldn't have put ourselves in that position to even let the referees decide it.
So talk about the game a little bit more too, Culture Boy Juan. What opportunities did you see while you were down there in LCA that we could have took advantage of to where we really can put ourselves in this situation?
Two things, man. I feel like we can start with the turnovers because I don't think nothing's more important than the turnovers. You got to value every possession when it comes to playoff basketball. This is not the regular season. This is not preseason. This is not a play-in tournament. This is the NBA playoffs. And in the NBA playoffs, every possession is extremely valuable. And that's something that you got to understand, not just by a coach telling you or a veteran dropping that little nugget on you. You got to be there and feel it and understand, like, damn, that one extra closeout, or I could have been faster on that, or that one box out that I missed, that one loose ball that I hesitate to go get. Like, you got to be on that, and I think the turnovers is, it kills those possessions, and that reared its ugly head again. But another thing too, man, is when you get in those moments, man, particularly in playoff basketball, it's all about matchups. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be able to hunt these matchups because we get in these little lulls, around the 8, 7, 6 minute mark where we can't find offense. All of a sudden, we forget how to play basketball. But see, in those moments, that's where your better guys got to demand the ball, seek the matchup that they want and go to work, man, because the offense got real stagnant in this fourth quarter. The same as the first game and the second game as well. Third game we played from behind the entire game, but in games 1, 2, and 4, we had leads and we squandered them. Luckily in game 2 we was able to come away with the victory, but not so much in the other 3, man. So we got to figure out ways to close these games, close these quarters, close these halves. But that's another thing too, man. We were terrible closing the half. We were terrible closing the first quarter, man. And then particularly closing the game. You go into the fourth quarter up 8 points, you got to figure out a way to put them boys away, man. And we haven't learned that yet. Maybe that's a topic for another time as far as, secondary ball handler that would alleviate that issue. That seems to be the common theme that always kind of rears its ugly head is we don't know what to do when K is tired or when K goes out the game or when they're trapping and doubling. We don't have a second option. So that same story is game 1, 2, and 4, man. Not being able to close the fourth and turning the ball over, not valuing them possessions.
Now, there's another thing I want to say too. Pistons can't come out and have these slow starts in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Like today, they had another slow start. New York jumped out on them early. New York was up double digits. Pistons had to play behind. You cannot come to the game have these slow starts, especially you in a pivotal game, a game forward. You're trying to tie the series. You cannot put yourself behind on the 8 ball because the simple fact you're playing catch up, especially a young, inexperienced team. Outside our 4 veterans, that's a long haul to climb up. When you trying to play catch up all game long, and with this is a teaching lesson. Saying whether if they lose when they lose out Tuesday, game 5, this is the teaching lesson moment. But if they can extend the series to at least 6 games, the least get it to 6 to 7 games, it's still a learning curve and learning moments with this team. But they cannot keep coming up with slow starts. And another thing too, Isaiah Stewart being out for 3 games in a row, man, with the knee soreness. I think Jalen Duren had to be out. Karl Anthony Towns is pulling Jalen Duren out there out in the perimeter area, and Karl Anthony Towns is making shots, even with the game-winning shot that he made, pulling Jalen Duren out there in the perimeter. Isaiah Stewart, this part, if you have an Isaiah Stewart out there, he's better off playing on the perimeter than Jalen Duren. Even though Isaiah Stewart is a big man as well, but he has a better opportunity to, be out on the perimeter with Karl Anthony Towns versus, Jalen Duren. And then Jalen Duren, he played 38 minutes a day. Obviously, you need him to play out there, but it's a matchup that New York is getting us right now, especially with Cat, with Jalen Duren, so.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Isaiah Stewart's presence is missed within these games, and seeing how close we've lost these last couple of games, I can honestly say him not being in this series is showing that it mattered. In regards to him, because defensively he brings something that we need, and that's like not allowing, because there's moments in these games where Cat was able to go on streaks, and I believe Stewart would have been helpful in regards of that. My take is, and I'm gonna have to continue to say this, K has to at least score 30 for us to win.
Yeah, 30 plus for sure.
30 plus for sure. Every game we lost, K has not reached 30. When we won the game, K went off for more than 30. K has to have at times he has to show them. This is the point. I think this is a experience for him because you could see it in Brunson, you could see it in all these other star players that's in the playoffs. They show up at these times. This is the time where he needs to be the dog. He needs to be selfish and do his thing. Because this is where when you say that you're feeling as though you're one of the top players in the league, this is where you're going to get judged by. And this is when it happens. There's times within today's game and a game before where K was kind of null and void in taking over or being assertive in his game. And I know today people gonna say, well, he's had a triple double today. But there was a time in that first half where we were like, okay, go. Okay, get to the like take over. And he did show that, and that caused an issue amongst everybody else because the guys that's waiting on him, standing around, not moving like how they're supposed to, the flow of the game never went. The flow of today's game was really like off all game. And you could see the difference from New York side than our side. Because when it was time for Brunson to go, or everybody cleared out of space and let Brunson go and do his one-on-one thing. But when K got the ball, it was always a guy close by ready to cut him off or to double down on him. And the other guys, they didn't get far enough away or they didn't move around, and it showed. So hopefully that could be an adjustment into the next game. But K has to be that all-star level because as you can see, we can't win without it.
Yeah,
we can't win it without it.
Yeah, and then another thing too, like you say, this would your other guys need to step up. Obviously, you only have 4 players in double figures today. I need more. Like I said, Tobias Harris went for 6 for 15, 18 points. You know, he has to show up better. Tim Hardaway Jr. You know, he played better these last 2 games than the first 2 games. But I need Dennis Schroeder. He played 27 minutes today, only has 6 points. I need more for him. I need more for Dennis Schroeder.
With Schroeder, him having to deal with Brunson, I'm not really too much on the scoring tip on him, but the fact that he's able to come in and be disruptive with Brunson, I think that balanced that out. Where we really need DC to really take this game over the top, which would have really opened it up for us. I got Beasley got knocked down the shots.
Yeah.
And the shots that he's usually knocking down, he's really been off this series, and it showed the last 2 games because the shots that he's missing, we seen him make all season long, and that really hurt our momentum today and the other game. So Mo Beasley. Now, I know you mentioned Tobias Harris, but Tobias Harris today was a spark that we needed in that second quarter.
Yeah,
that got us going. So his minutes and his production really helped us today. But yeah, to me, the veterans have been more of doing what they were supposed to do. It's the YNs, it's the young guys that's really kind of hurting us right now because they're inexperienced showing in these playoffs.
Well, I think it's a kind of combination of both because they kind of feed off each other. I was telling DC before the show started, you know, like you said, we so used to Beasley knocking down those shots, and we so dependent on his energy and his production. And, you know, the energy comes with the production, but the issue is, like, in those big moments when that ball is getting kicked out to him, we so used to seeing Beasley shoot in slow motion and knowing it's going in and the crowd going to erupt. Like, we've been sorely missing that. Like, we've been sorely missing that. It's the energy that we need. Like, he ignites us every time he hit big bucket after big bucket because we know it's coming with a shimmy. You know, it's coming with your teammates, you know, getting in the rhythm and dancing and the crowd. Everybody got ARs in the audience, you know what I'm saying? Like, we going crazy, and it's like when he misses them, it's so deflating, bro, because we so dependent. It's not a bonus. Like, what you get out of Beasley is not a bonus. It's actually essential to the way we built. You know what I'm saying? So we've been missing Beasley. But I want to go back to what you said about K too, and understanding the moments, man. There were plenty of times where we wanted him to just go and attack the basket because when Mitchell Robinson is not on the court, like what are you afraid of? Like beat your man off the dribble and get there. You know what I'm saying? And
And
you got
what else did Coach Juwan? They had Cat in foul trouble too.
and had Cat in foul trouble. Like go at him, like attack him. You know, why don't we go after Cat sometime? Let's send Cat's man in the pick and roll, and and let's get busy. Let's dance. But more so, it's just the moments that we be needing, K, where you be needing your star player to step up. And you want to know what's crazy is we get motorcade, but we be needing killer Cade in those moments. Like we need eyes to turn red. Put your head down and get to the bucket. Get to the free throw line. Like put the pressure on the rim. Like we didn't have pressure on the rim, and we said that a lot in game one where Cade was facilitating. But I said in that game, that's not the recipe to beat them boys. We need killer Cade. It's like you said, we need you to elevate your game to 35 in these games. Like if you get 35, the rest will work itself out. All that, trying to get everybody involved and all that shit, like that's cool, but just not the regular season. Like your name is made in the playoffs, bro. You gotta put the ball in the cup.
Most definitely. And like I said, we all said this is definitely a learning experience for this team. But I want to also make sure that I say this, like I said, because of course, Big Willie Styles, me, and Coach Juwan have been down in LCA, and the atmosphere that's been down there these last couple of games has been a gratifying experience. It's especially for me, being that I've been a season ticket holder for the past, I want to say 3 or 4 years, to finally be able to come to this point and see LCA at its fullest, at its loudest, at its most hype point with these games being down there. It's been an awesome experience, man. The energy in the building, the fact that saying they brought the final countdown back, with introductory. They got T Grizzly in the intros and praying on your downfall. All in all, it's been a great experience with the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to hopefully we be able to get to a game 6, so we be able to keep experiencing that again. But with this team going forward, looks like we're going to be getting some more playoff games going forward. So it's definitely been a great environment. It's the first playoff series we done had here at LCA for the Detroit Pistons, and it's been amazing. So, and I don't know if any of you guys is in the comment section or anybody out there. If you've been down there, you should be, let the people know, like, man, it's been great. Like Coach Juwan, man, he has a ball down there. You should see him down there. He's calm right now. Y'all think he's calm right now, but when you see him in his element, it's a whole different person. Understand?
I'll be up and down the stairs.
And I'm gonna say this too, man. Like, what you got to piggyback with you, that crowd was amazing, man. When y'all guys was down, that crowd was amazing. It showed out, man. I mean, when I think about with 2019 when the Pistons made the playoffs, when they played the Bucks, the crowd wasn't that loud like it was this one right here. This our crowd showed out every time they held LCA down compared to when we made the playoffs with 2019 with LCA. Our crowd wasn't all that enthusiastic like this was, man. I got to give a shout out to our crowd. I got to shout out to our other Detroit sports teams, man. The Tigers came out, showed out game 3. You got to show the Lions, Jameer Gibbs was at the game. Dan Campbell was at the game today. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, he was down there today. J-Mo was there. Shout out to our bad boys.
Calvin Johnson was down there, y'all.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson was there. Yeah, shout out to our bad boys, man. Isaiah Thomas. Yeah.
Ben Wallace.
Rick was down there. Rick was there at that game 3. Man, it's definitely all the love, man. For this city, man. To come show off for our home playoff games, man. So hopefully, we could get it back to a game 6 and have it on Thursday, man. So gotta give shout out to our crowd for our city, man.
For sure, touche.
So we got talk about, of course, what's up next for the Pistons. Game 5. What do we need to do as far as trying to salvage this series? I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, DC.
Like I said, Pistons just got to come to you can't have a slow start. Put pressure on New York early. New York was New York wanted to close this thing out at home. If we come out and we have a strong start and sustain the lead throughout the whole entire game, we can bring this thing back to a game 6 at home. Because New Yorkers really want to try to rush this thing to close this thing out. So of course, the New York crowd's gonna be crazy down there at the Garden. You know how the Garden is, but if the Pistons can come with a strong start, limit their turnovers, get Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble, um, Pistons can bring this thing back home to Game 6.
Hmm. What you think there, Culture Man? What we need to do? What can we do?
We need to bring the fight to New York. I feel like we ain't got on their ass since game one. I truly believe that. Game one, we got on their ass. We was all over them. They felt the presence of the bad boys. They felt the physicality, the energy, the emotion that we was bringing to the court. Like I feel like we haven't played that way since game one. And I think another thing too, man, is I think K has to put his cape on and understand like if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out fighting. You know what I'm saying? He has to go in there and he has to take over that game. He has to be the best player on that court, and it has to be evident and clear to everybody. Because that's really the only way you're gonna stop a team from closing out. Because at the end of the day, they got the experience. They've been in closeout games. Cat in Minnesota, Brunson in Dallas, and also in New York, and then you got Tibbs with his experience. Like you don't want to shortchange Tibbs. Like they're going to come in from the start of the game and try to impose their will and try to close this series out. The only way, the true resistance that we can have towards that is K has to come out and he has to be a superstar. Like you said earlier, he said in the interview, it's not for me to, make my case or make a case against everybody else. Y'all got to watch us play. Okay, well, we watching you play right now. And I don't think anybody would say K that's been the best player in this series. I think that nod would go to Brunson right now statistically, and the win column, and just overall aesthetics. Like K has to visually and dominantly be the best player on the court in order for us to bring it back to LCA.
And I'm agreeing with both you guys. For the main part, yes, K. We need game 2, K. The
Yeah.
aggressive K, for us to have a chance, we gotta have a prayer that Isaiah Stewart can come back, because his presence is definitely needed. So with them two, if we can get that game 2, K, and if we can get Stu back, like you said, weather the storm, because it's gonna be hard going into that Madison Square Garden atmosphere. If we can be able to weather that, we could be able to bring it back for a game 6 and extend this series, and make it worthwhile. So it's definitely an experience that is needed, and we're gonna be looking forward to seeing, man, and hope for the best for our guys, man. But all in all, I'm still proud of the guys, man. So anyway, go get into some NBA, scores and playoff brackets. DC, man, go ahead and go over what we got going on right now.
Alrighty, so yesterday OKC take care Memphis Grizzlies. They pull off the sweep 4 against the none. So OKC is waiting on the winner of the Clippers and the Nuggets. And speaking of the Clippers and the Nuggets, last night game, the Clippers lose a heartbreaker loss to the Denver Nuggets. The series is tied to
dunk, man.
That dunk, yeah. But yeah, so the Clippers and the Nuggets will play on Tuesday, game 5. Game 5, game 4 today. The Minnesota Timberwolves edged out the Los Angeles Lakers up 3-1. Ant-Man had 43 points.
Question. Is the Lakers in trouble?
The Lakers are
The
done.
Lakers in
The
trouble.
Lakers are officially in trouble, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Ant-Man put his cape on.
Ooh, ooh, that's not looking good. A first round exit for the Lakers, man.
The Lakers,
That's not.
everybody keeps hyping on the Lakers. Some of the Lakers are going to go to the finals. Lakers to go to Western Conference Finals. The Lakers do not have a bench.
Well,
They
it won't
cannot.
be. That's a good.
They,
That you know what? They do not have a bench. You are absolutely correct.
and
They
they
do
don't have a
not
big
have a
man
bench.
either. They don't have a big man either. So you're
Yeah,
asking you asking a lot for Luka and LeBron to carry
LeBron.
this team. No,
They can't
Minnesota
defend
got the
the cup.
better team.
They can't
They
defend the cup, man.
they lost.
Ant-Man went baseline and dunked on Luca the other night. Like they
Mm,
can't defend the cup, bro.
no.
They lost that Shannon Sharp mojo, man. That's Lakers in five. Not anymore.
Not
be,
anymore.
be Minnesota in five.
Mm-hmm. Golden State pulled off the victory last night against the Houston Rockets without Jimmy Butler.
Mhm.
So quite sure Jimmy Butler will not be playing game 4 tomorrow. So Houston looking to try to tie the series up. The Eastern Conference, Cleveland looking to pull off the sweep tomorrow against the Miami Heat. Who cares about that series? Cleveland's going to take care of that. Tonight, the Indiana Pacers and the Bucks be going at it for game 4. Milwaukee's looking to tie the series. Indiana looking to try to go up 3-1. Obviously, the New York Knicks is up 3-1. These are the Pistons. Game 5 will be Tuesday, and game 4 right now the Celtics and Magic. The Celtics up by 1. The Orlando look to tie this series up to go back to Boston 2 games apiece. Shout out to Orlando, man. They giving Boston problems, man. It's some reason.
Hey, and shout out to my boy Corey Joseph out there
Oh
starting
man,
for the Orlando Magic, putting up
Oh, Joe.
pivotal midgets. Shout out to my boy Kojo. And like I said, leave my boy Corey Joseph alone. He's still out there limping around, running around the court, just doing whatever he wants to do. You know what I'm saying?
and those are your playoff scores.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, think it's time to switch it up now, fellas. Man, we got the draft. We got the NFL draft. We got to get
Yes.
into discussion about, man. I know we want to go over these Lions draft picks and some other pressing issues going on within the NFL and the draft. It was some controversy definitely going on around that time. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, come back on the other side, and we're going to get into these draft picks for the Lions. That sound good to y'all?
Let's
Let's
roll.
get it.
Let's get it.
Wow, black owned shoe store. Culture. My culture though. Let's see what they talking about in here. What's up, little dog? You good? Y'all got something here for me? I'm talking about exclusive. They got all the dunks. How many dunks they got? Something like these. Y'all got a little vibe in here. They buying shoes, selling shoes, it feels like the culture. They dunking on people. Oh, they doing TikTok. They looking out for the kids. Oh, man, this is great, man. Oh, they got all different races working here. It just really feels like culture. You're looking for a black-owned shoe store to get some real drip at? Come up here to Culture Detroit, man. That's what the streets been missing. Welcome home, fam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead and let you go ahead and give that away, culture, boy Juan.
Hey, man. This episode of DSN Weekly Review, man, is brought to you by the fine folks over at Culture Detroit, 19327 Livernois, located on the Avenue of Fashion for all my people out there. And don't forget, man, we got a second location number 2. We are downtown on 1228 Griswold Street in the heart of Capitol Park, man. Come down here, catch a vibe, grab you some merch, You know, we got the hats, we got the tees. They're going crazy. If you've been down to LCA, you've seen them all over the place. I mean, DM saying, we seen y'all all on TV, on all fans in the crowd on TNT, on TV, man. So shout out Turner Sports for holding us down. Shout out LCA. Shout out the Bad Boys. Shout out to you, man. Coach of Detroit. Welcome home, fam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Sir.
sir. All right. So past weekend we had the NFL draft, and of course we're going to go over these draft selections by the Lions, and just go ahead, and what we're going to do is just go over the who were picked, give the details in regards to what the guys are, show some highlights and everything like that, and just give them their praises and welcome to the D. You know what I'm saying? So this is a special show in regards to that. So let's get it going, man. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the first pick from the NFL draft by the Detroit Lions at number 28, of course, was Talik Williams. Talik Williams, man, he's a big boy. 2021 honorable mention, All Big Ten Conference. In 2022, he was honorable mention, All Big Ten. 2023 was third team, All Big Ten. Tied for the team with 10 tackles for loss. In 2024, he was third team, All Big Ten. He started all 13 games. Of course, he's a national champion. Had 46 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, with 2.5 sacks and a pass breakup. He did miss 3 games due to injury during that season. Big guy. Got some moves on him. Of course, we won't go ahead and put up some highlights of him. I want you guys, what you guys think about this pick?
I'm gonna go ahead and start off this. Wasn't too fine with the pick like that, but oh yeah.
I got the move. He uses his hands well.
Yeah.
Right at the point of attack. All right, now that was the Lions' first round pick in Talik Williams. What you
Now
think?
let me say say this. Far as with the pick, I wasn't too fine with the pick, because of the simple fact that we, have what we needed to address the most was the edge rusher, but at the end of the day, this is what decided that Brad Holmes wanted to go where he wanted somebody that's, a guy that could be a force on that defensive line. And obviously, when you got guys like Ali McNeil, you don't, it's gonna take him a while for him to come back. And on top of that, we don't know what you're gonna get out of Broderick Martin. You don't know what you're gonna get out of, Pascal and Levi and those guys. You don't know what you're gonna get out of them. So I believe that's what Brad Holmes went with that move, just to add depth to it. It's not the sexiest pick in the world, but now I'm starting to understand why he made this move. even though all of us rather go. I don't know about you, Randy, but but I'd rather go with an edge rusher, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we need alongside with Aiden Hutchinson. We did not resign, we still haven't resigned Zadarius Smith, even if it's just a 1-year deal, you know what I'm saying? But if we even end up resigning Davenport, but on the cheap deal, but we needed an edge rusher alongside with Aiden Hutchinson. That's what we need. But it's not the sexiest pick in the world, but we'll live with it. We'll see how he do. We'll welcome to Detroit, man. To leave.
Culture.
Can't wait to talk about this pick. Okay, real quick, girl, you said you would rather have an edge, right? The edges earn their money on which down? Third down.
Third down.
How do you get to third down? By stopping the run on first and second. We double down on the strength of ours, and we extended that strength for another 4 or 5 years by bringing this guy in. All right. The main thing is the guy's footwork, man. He has twitch, man. He's a big fella, but he's nimble. He has that twitch. I love his footwork. I love the way he hand fights. And I also like how he gets in the backfield. A lot of times his first point of contact is 1-2 yards in the backfield because he done already beat his man and he back there getting those TFLs. So I love that. Obviously, we do need sacks. I know we need edge rushers. I want edge rushers. I'm like Brad Holmes. I would like 3, 4, 5, 6. Why not have 100 of them if you can get 100 of them on a 53-man roster? Why not have 100 of them? But I love this pick, man. My only issue in the beginning was BPA, and then I had to humble myself, educate myself, because this BPA thing, a lot of people don't understand what BPA is. People, when they say BPA, they're going off of the numbers that all these journalists have put these guys in the order. But that's not Brad Holmes' BPA. Brad Holmes' BPA is specifically guys that he identified that would fit our system, whether that's scheme or whether that's culture. So this whole BPA shit, it means something different for every single team. So while you saying this guy went 28th and he could have went 40 or 45 or 50, according to who?
Yeah,
a bunch of people with no inside knowledge or no way of knowing what Brad Holmes is thinking. He might have been 40 on that board. He might have been 15 on Brad Holmes' board. Because a lot of guys are undraftable or, again, they don't fit the scheme. So they're not even on the board to start with. So, of course, we would love edge rushers. Everybody want edge rushers, but that's the sexy, cute shit. Like, I need the big fellas in the trenches that's going to get us to third down. Because otherwise, and that's the other thing, too, is Brad Holmes is looking at this conference, and he's saying the standard is Philadelphia. Well, what's Philadelphia's strength? It's
the run game.
It's the run game. It's the offensive line. It's the tush push. How do you stop a run game, an offensive line, and a tush push? By putting big athletes in the middle that's going to hold down the fort. Everybody want to get caught up in he don't have no pass rushing skills. Pass rushing skills are taught in camp, in drills, in reps. Man, he can learn to be a pass rusher. He is the perfect 3 for us. He gives us longevity on that defensive line because all our guys are either on 1-year deals or have 1 year left on their deal, which essentially means the cover going to be bare next season without this dude. So a lot of people need to get that in their head and understand, man, we building it through the trenches, man. We trying to keep this thing going. He just extended our strength of our defense for another 4 to 5 years, man. Wake up, man. Tyleik Williams is a great pick.
Shout out to you. Now I gotta go. We got a lot more to get into. I gotta get mine up. Then we gotta move on because, like I said, this is just a introductory to the guys that's coming into the show. So, with Tyleik Williams, like I said, he's a for me, it was initially, I had to bypass my Ohio State bias for understanding what it was with the pick and why Brad Holmes did it. Like you said, he's a guy that we need in the middle, depth piece. He could come in right away to get some playing time while we got guys that's coming off injured, and he's a piece for the future. And I believe that's what this whole draft class is for. Guy, he's great with his hands. He's nimble. Like I said, he's one that can take on double teams as well, and that's something that we're going to need up in the middle. And I have to agree. And not even look at it from that standpoint that you did, Culture Boy. in regards to what we have to be facing dealing with who's the basically supposed to be the cream of the crop right now, and we need to be able to withstand that. So, great pick, solid pick for the future. Talik Williams, we give you a shout out. Welcome to Detroit, baby.
Welcome to the D. What up, though, my boy?
Welcome to the D. Now, next up, we got our second round pick, Tate Rutledge. Second round, 57 overall pick. Of course, he was a 5-star recruit out of high school. Played one game as reserve right guard. He redshirted 2021, started 14 games in 2022. 2023 is a second team Associated Press All-American, All SEC. 2024, third team All-American. He's All SEC as well in regard to that. Let's get into some highlights of this big boy, man. See what we working with now. He's second round pick guard.
Oh, that's a lot of Diddy.
a little bit of Diddy. All right. So that's our second round pick. Tate Rutledge, man. DC, man. What you think, man?
I love it. I love this pick. I love the guy. He can. I watched some of Georgia games this past season. He's a hell of a pass blocker. He's a hell of a run block, and he can. I love. He has quick feet. He can take on double team. He could take on one-on-ones. He has quick feet, quick hands. He's a very excellent pass blocker, very excellent run blocker. He could open up the holes for the running game. It open up, make sure he gets to protect the quarterback. Make sure no spin outs, no nothing. I love this pick. I love this pick with Brad Holmes did, man. He's gonna be the future. Him and Panay Sewell, man. Watch out.
All right, Culture, what you think, man?
I think we got us another dirtbag to go with Panay and Mahogany. I think he's the perfect blend of a culture fit as well as a scheme fit. Like that was my thing too. With a lot of people wanted like Tyler Booker, and I think this is another example of BPA for Brad Holmes too. Like a lot of people wanted Tyler Booker, but I don't think they even looked at the play style that he plays with compared to our run game and how we run our offense. He's more of like a power guy, like a power downhill running game. He's a big fella, but he's not that nimble. Whereas a Tate Rutledge, he has the footwork to be able to pull at that guard position and open up those lanes for Ja and Demo to get through to have these explosive runs. He's a perfect scheme fit for us. I like the fact that he was loyal to the soil, Georgia boy through and through. I'm glad that we finally got us some Georgia boys. We needed us some dogs, some more dogs to go with these dogs. I think it was a perfect pick. I think it settled the fan base a little bit too because it addressed an immediate need. I think overall it was a pretty solid pick. I'm interested in seeing, how he is as far as personality in the city with with the mullet and the dirtbag moniker.
Yeah,
I feel like he fits the culture of Detroit. You see what I did there?
yeah.
Um, and I feel like he'd be a perfect fit for us. And I think we got to start to get the dirtbag thing going, because, Panay is not really known as being a dirtbag, but that's what he does. He gets dirty, you feel me? So you throw him and Mahogany and the Rook together, man, we might have a little dirtbag crew, dirtbag squad or something.
Mhm.
Great pick, Brad Holmes.
Right. So with this pick, it like I said, it's another a need to be that needed to be addressed. Like I said, we got guys on this offensive line that's you know, long with the wear and tear, and it's get to the point to where we got to start looking to that next level. And this is one of the guys that could fit that mold. There have been reports that Hank Fraley's going to work with him and another one of the draft picks that we got at being playing the center position. So it's a possibility that he could be that replacement for Frank right now, depending on how it works out. So that just shows that they look for guys with versatility, and he could play within the inside, whether left guard, right guard. Like I say, he was a reserve right guard, played one of those games. He may pull off be center, or he could be a backup center. Versatility is very much key when it comes to the offensive line, because like I said, there are gonna be times where we may have an offensive lineman go down, and we're gonna need somebody to fill in. And you got a guy right here that looks to fit the mold, where he can come in right away and give us some sustainable time frame, and also take over in the near future. So with that being said, Tate Rutledge, welcome to the D, brother.
Welcome.
Now, next up, we got our third round pick, which this one came with some trade ups and gave away a couple of picks.
Controversy.
Yes. Controversy, if you would say, but your boy Brad Holmes went with Isaac Tesla, wide receiver out of Arkansas. This is a hometown kid out of Hudsonville, Michigan. So shout out to Hudsonville. He's started off at Division II, worked his way up. In 2023, started all 12 games that he played in. 2024, he played in all 13 games, 5 starts. Big kid, 6'4", like 214 pounds, runs a 4.49, has great hands. Catch radius is through the roof. Looks to be that big time receiver that we're looking for the future. And we'll go ahead and pull up, so you can see what this guy looks like out there on film right now. He goes up and get it with them hands. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
One thing you like when you see a receiver that he goes up and uses his
Goes up and get the ball.
Yeah, he's a hands catcher. Let me go first on this.
All right.
Tesla.
All right. Tesla. Now, before I let you go, Culture One, I want to shout out to boy Wise Man Cass. He sent me his proxy on his picks. He wanted me to put out there, what his take was on Tesla. He said he's gonna be a replacement for Tim Patrick, ability to stretch the field, willing blocker, plays with attitude, catches with his hands, and can break tackles. He says a great pick. Culture, what's your take?
First off, it's Tesla, not Tesla.
Tesla.
Um,
He might be Tesla now the way he playing. You
might
feel
be
me?
interesting prospect. Like you said, he's brought in to be the heir apparent to Tim Patrick. I got question marks in as far as that's concerned. As far as Brad sees him as an outside receiver, a big X. But a lot of his film, you see, he's playing in the slot. A lot of his routes are coming from the slot, so he's going to have to learn that route tree on how to be a big guy on the outside. But to his credit, big fella, 6'4". He can go up and get the ball. He uses his hands well. He's not interested in catching it with his body. He's going up and he's snagging that ball. He's grabbing balls in traffic. No diddy.
Right.
He's going to need some work on his route running and small nuances, getting in and out of his break. Being able to read coverages and being able to manipulate coverages as well. He's going to need some work. He kind of came out of nowhere, so to speak. Like, he only had the one big season out of Arkansas. He was pretty quiet up until that point. So, the game is still fairly new to him. He's a former high school quarterback. And, he was told when he was coming out, if you want to make it to the league, you're going to have to shift to receiver. So he's still fairly new to the position, but he has all the measurables to be successful. Again, it's got to be the nuance. I hear he had a pretty high RAS score, which, basically is a rating for your overall athleticism, based on, size, weight, all that different stuff at different positions. So he had a super high RAS score, which means, the clay is there to be molded. He's just going to have to learn, like I said, the nuances and reading coverages, manipulating coverages, and getting in and out of breaks. And, Brad mentioned that when he first, caught eyes on him, it was at the Senior Bowl, and he looked up and he seen this big receiver blocking the shit out of dudes, and it really intrigued him and made him want to go back and watch the tape. And then from there, he kind of fell in love with the kid. So, like I said, big ball of clay, a lot he can work on in this game, but he has the measurables. I watched some interviews. He has the will and the want to be great. So, it's just gonna take a little straightening, little work in camp to get him where he need to be. But the jury's still out on this pick. We gonna see on that one. But and Brad Holmes we trust.
Yeah.
DC, what's your take
I
on?
like it. I like this pick. He kind of remind me of a little bit of a Julian Edelman. No, the reason, yes, because
He more Puka than Julian.
Well, that too, but a little bit more Julian Edelman. And the reason why I say that, because Julian Edelman, a guy that was go out there to get the ball, he was a slot. He was like Tesla he plays the slot like Julian Edelman plays the slot. That could go up there and he could catch through traffic. He could go up there. He's a run. He could block. He's willing to block like Julian Edelman did. Like, he has those type of similarity game like a Julian Edelman. When you need it, when you need a possession, when you need that first down, need that drive, that was Julian Edelman. I could see with Tesla, I could see in him. Like I say, he has a lot more to grow, a lot more to growing to do as far as going to the NFL. Like I'm piggybacking a lot of stuff you said, culture, but I think this guy he could be a threat along with a St. Brown on those slots, and with J-Mo stretching the field, so, and Laporta as well. So I think he's gonna be that definitely a third guy that can help, replace that Tim Patrick that we had. So I think he has that Julian element in him. I agree too. He has some Puka Nacua, but he's not a little bit more of like a Julian element to me.
I like what you said, DC. Not to cut you off, Big Willie, but I can't see him being like in the sense of Julian Edelman, like that safety blanket. You know, I feel like Jared kind of missed his binky when we lost Reynolds. You know, that was his little binky. So
Yeah.
maybe this is the replacement binky,
Right.
man. Let's see.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the great thing about this pick and about this particular pick is that is not something that we have a dire need from. This is, like you said, the things, the intangibles that you're saying that he need, Culture Boy. He has the opportunity to learn and not have to go into and face the fire right away. Like I said, this is a future pick. This is for the future. This is not for right now. This is for later. And the biggest thing that he has going for him, which caught Brad Holmes' eye and the coach's eye, is blocking. And receivers that's blocking, especially with the type of plays that we run, like the end arounds, and you see the Jameer Gibbs coming out the backfield, that's key to what we need for this offense. We need receivers that want to get their hands on these DBs and these safeties, and that's a key thing for him that he brings to the table. He's a kid from Michigan, so he knows the culture here.
He won a state championship too.
He won a state championship here, so that's important as well, because playing in front of your home crowd, it's got to be a different feeling. So I know he's going to be coming out and being excited about that. So with that being said, Tazla, welcome back home, Detroit Lions, baby.
Yes, sir.
He had his
Next
draft.
up,
He had his draft party here. He ain't even had nowhere to go.
he could have rolled and walked down the street.
Right.
Next up, 5th round pick, Miles Frazier, offensive lineman out of LSU. Started his career 2020 in Florida International, and also in 2021 he was a freshman All-American. 2022 started all 13 games for LSU. 2023 started all 13 games. Was a Joel Moore Award finalist for the nation's top offensive lineman back in 2023. Started all 13 games at right guard and one at right tackle in the Texas Bowl this past year for the LSU Tigers. And we're gonna go ahead and jump into some highlights and see what this big fella's working with. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Okay, big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, DC. What you think, man?
I like it. He's a hell of. You see that the highlights. He opened up the holes in the run block. You know, he's a good pass blocker. You know, this guy he's a dog. He got that dog mentality in him. I really like this pick. I'm surprised he went that far late in that round. You know, in the round, but yeah, I'm surprised he went that far. But he's a dog. I like I said, I like this pick. I think he should have went earlier than he should have, but I'm surprised he went that far. But he's a dog. He has that dog mentality in him, and he's gonna be the future. He's gonna be the future for this team.
Hey man, hey, DC took all the words out of my mouth. He said everything I was gonna say. Good footwork. He's very powerful at the point of attack. I think, like DC said, I think that's a steal. I think that's a third round talent right there. I think we got him at a bargain discount for sure. And this is clear evidence that our front office is trying to get ahead of these offensive linemen and defensive. We back in the trenches, baby. You know what I'm saying? And we getting ahead of that. And for financial reasons too, man. It's very important for us to get some young talent in the trenches on fairly cheap contracts. Like we got to be able to balance this thing out. And one of the ways we're gonna be able to balance out all these big contracts that we gotta hand out. Shout out Kerr, just signed an $85 million deal, highest paid safety in the league.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Yes,
Shout out to Kerr. But yeah, we got some more big names that's due for some money too. And the only way to balance that out is to start to eliminate some of these older contracts, and more importantly on our offensive line. Decker makes a hefty amount. So does Ragnow. Graham Glasgow, at this point, he's starting to look replaceable. I never saw Graham as a starting guard for us in the first place. I always liked him in that swing role, that Swiss Army knife role. And it looks like they're going to be preparing Tate Ratliff to kind of do some of those same things. So I think Graham could be a cap casualty. But we're gonna try to stretch this thing for as long as we can, man. We don't got all the money in the world to get everybody done. Like, we're gonna lose a couple of these guys, but I think our front office is gonna do everything we can to retain our homegrown talent.
Yeah.
And I think one of the ways to do that is to start to manipulate the contracts of those older guys on the offensive line. And I think this pick, it speaks to that. So shout out to Brad Holmes for, getting ahead of the curve and doing what Brad Holmes do, man. Put some respect on that man's name, y'all. Quit playing with that guy.
Yeah, well, that'll never happen as long as he's GM here. But I want to get into my boy Wiseman Cass. He gave his proxy on this pick. He said that Miles having given up a sack in 579 snaps. 6'7", 300 plus pounds, can play anywhere on the line, durable, and he fits the mold. Which is with Rutledge and Miles Frazier, both those guys, they indicated were the two guys that they were going to try to incorporate with seeing which one of them could be center. So that just shows the versatility in this pick. Great feet, long arms, great for an offensive lineman, man. And you see that no one's able to get inside of him. He's able to pull. That's great for us. So that's definitely a plus. And like I said, Hank Fraley's going to enjoy this pick. So with that being said, Miles Frazier.
One more thing about Frazier, big boy. He was 6'8", right?
6'7", 6'8", yeah.
6'7", 6'8". So he's gonna be real intimidating coming off the bus. But one thing about big, tall offensive linemen, man, you gotta be conscious of your pad level, man. You can't let them boys get inside your jersey, man. So that's one thing he gonna have to be, super conscious about, and make sure he incorporating that in his game and not giving his chest up.
That's where the limp come in.
That's where the limp come in.
That being said, welcome to Detroit, baby.
Welcome to Detroit.
Now, with the 6th round pick.
Oh yeah, we got to get to this.
196 pick in the draft. Yeah. The Detroit Lions select defensive end. Defensive end. You hear that? You got that finally? Defensive end. Ahmed Hassanine out of Boise State. Now, this guy here, 2021, he played 9 games as a reserve, 5 tackles. 2022, he played in 12 games with 3 starts, 13 tackles, 2 sacks. 2023, first team All Mountain West Conference, ranked 5th in the FBS with 12.5 sacks. Started all 14 games with 53 tackles, 16.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. In 2024, first team All Mountain West, tied for the team lead with 15.5 tackles for loss, led the team with 9.5 sacks, started all 14 games that season. First player from Egypt, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The
First player
motherland.
from Egypt to come play, and I know um, there were a lot of upset people going around until they seen what this guy could do and what he was
Man,
about. So we're
this
gonna go ahead and let the highlights run, and then we're gonna get some more into about this guy.
My boy is a dog.
oh. Woo.
He a real dog. He barks
Yeah.
back too.
Yeah, he do.
Mhm. Look, he doesn't give up on that play.
He relentless, bro. His pursuit
Mhm.
is relentless. You know they say play like your helmet on fire. That boy play like his helmet on fire.
Yeah. Get out my way. Get out my
Got
way.
my way.
And he give me Ndamukong Suh vibes. I know he on the outside, but he give me Suh vibes.
Right.
The power, the athleticism, and the relentlessness. He give me Suh vibes. For sure.
Let's get at it, fellas. Let's get at it. Let's get at it now. Who want to start? Who want to start with this one?
Coach, go ahead and start with this first, man.
Man, shout out this kid, man. He's out of Egypt, but he's really originally from the States. He moved out there when he was like 6 years old or something like that. The boy didn't know a lick of English. Like he was a world class athlete. What he did CrossFit. I think he was a CrossFit champion. He played soccer. He played a million sports. He played everything but football. He didn't play football until he was trying to come back to the States to get an education. And his brother told him, "Hey, I'm coaching high school ball. You can come play with me." He came and played with his brother and fell in love with the sport, man. The boy only been playing football for 5 years. He
5
played
years.
football for 2 years. He went to a camp. He raised some eyebrows, and kind of found out that his brother also played for the coach over at Boise State. Gave him a call. Next thing you know, he's up in Idaho on the blue field wrecking shit. You know what I'm saying? 3 years of playing football. So he played a total of 3 years at Idaho before playing 2 years in high school. And he's just relentless, man. He's a demon, bro. Like he's a real dog. Like his first time his name popped off was Rich Eisman was doing the combine and heard him barking back at the coaches. He trying to figure out who the hell is this kid barking back at the coaches. And he wanted to get him on the show. He got him on the show. This boy told his story, man. He had the whole crew about to come to tears, man. They all fell in love with him. I fell in love with him too. I'm like, I'm fucking with my boy.
Pause.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no diddy. But but on the field, man, he's relentless. He's powerful. He's a big kid. He said he was used to being the best athlete in everything he did. Every sport he touched, he was always the best. He said he turned on some NFL film and he saw Aaron Donald wrecking shit, and he said, I want to do that. You know, I want to do that. I want to be just like him. And he's been on this pursuit to be just like Aaron Donald ever since. And the boy is well on his way. Now, on the football side, what I like about him is he's a big, powerful kid. He sets the edge, which shout out to everybody that wanted our brass to go after the Mike Greens and the Donovan Azarakus. Have you ever seen a Mike Green or a Devin Azaraku archetype on this roster? You probably have one time. His name was James Houston. He's no longer on this roster. And I'm going to tell you why. Because he's not big enough to set the edge. We don't do designated pass rushers, even though I would love a couple designated pass rushers. But we like 3 down ends. We like guys that can set the edge. We like guys that can crush the pocket, crush the can, as some people say, force the quarterback to flow towards Hutch so Hutch can do what we about to pay him all this money to do. You got to be able to crush the pocket. That's why you will see small names like John Kaminsky in the starting lineup. Well, it's like he's not a household name, but what he is a big, powerful dude that crushes that pocket and allows Hutch to do what Hutch do. So he fits the archetype of what Brad Holmes and our brass like to do. He's relentless. He's only scratched the surface of being who he's going to be. Like I said, he's only played 5 years of football, and he's already in the league. He made it to the league. First Egyptian kid to ever make the league. So shout out to him. Shout out to the motherland. Shout out to Brad Holmes for being able to sift through all the BS and find football players that fit what we like to do, man. So shout out to him. I think he's going to be a fan favorite, man. So y'all get used to the name, man, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. Now, before I let you go, DC, I want to give Wise Man's take on him. Say, plays with a motor, 22 sacks in 2 years, has back-to-back seasons with 15 tackles for loss, and Buddy can play, and he had production. So that's Wise Man take on it. So DC, man, what's your take?
Man, everything Coach said was spot on, man. Everything you said. It's the same with Wise too, man. This guy, he's a dog. I loved it. I watched his story yesterday. This man, you know what he has went through, or what he, you know, didn't really speak English, you know, until later on in life. You know, he only played 5 years of football. You know, this guy, you know, he's a dog. This is to me, this is the best pick in this draft of the line. This is the best pick because he has that dog mentality, and he's going to be a force to reckon for a long time. And he's going to be. People don't know about this guy. You better start get to know. You better start watching film on this guy. He's a dog, and I'm telling you, he's going to get in that rookie mini camp and you know training camp. He's going to get some of these veteran players problems. He's going to get them some problems. So y'all better watch out. This man, like Coach said, he's going to be a fan favorite. He's going to be a fan favorite. So I definitely agree with everything he's saying. And he kind of remind me right quick. He kind of remind me of the late great Derek Thomas. He kind of remind me of the late great Derek Thomas. That motor, how he just get through the look like a Reggie White, you know, like the Bruce Smiths, and that's when he said he loved, he like the Aaron Donalds in the world. He has all that in him. If he just stay healthy, he has all them. He's gonna be one of the top defensive players in the NFL.
Listen. I want to say this real quick. I don't want to go into details about it. I might say that for another show, but I just want to ask a quick question. Looking at this young man and going throughout the draft and looking at all the other edge rushers, I would say from the second round to the sixth round, what difference do you see in him than what the other edge guys are? Not much at all. Not much at all. So the whole angst that everybody was going through about let's get an edge rusher this round, let's get an edge rusher this round, let's get an edge rusher this round. Right now, all the edge rushers that we were set to could have gotten was going to be in the same position that this guy is going to be in. He's not. None of the guys that was playing the edge that was going to be drafted was not going to come in right away to start. They're not day one starters. They're all project guys that we're looking to build the future with. So it doesn't matter if we get a guy in the second round to draft the edge or we draft the guy in the sixth round to do the edge, if they're going to come in and be doing the same thing and have the same production as somebody that's the only guy that I could see that was going to come in and be a day one starter was Abdul Carter. Everybody else, maybe a couple other guys in that first round, but by that time, it was everybody else. So the whole anger that people had going on, like Brad need to hurry up and get an edge. You got the same type of guy in the sixth round that you're going to get in the second round, like a Mike Green. Mike Green was a guy who ain't played football for only a couple years. Mike Green played at a mid-level conference. You got this, and in fact, he's more of a project because he's just a rusher. He's not a guy that's going to set the edge. You would have to train him to be a different type of player for this team, as opposed to a guy like like what we got in the 6th round is what we exactly need. A 3-down guy that can set the edge and also can rush the pass and can tackle for loss and is a run stuffer.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I digress. Like I said, I'm not gonna get too hyped into it, but I just want people to realize that when it was all hard and up and getting their little attitudes and saying little smart remarks about why Brad Holman didn't do this, until they see this guy, until they see his story, until they see that dog in him, everybody changed their tune. Then they're like, oh, wait a minute, let me sit back, because I didn't know about this guy. And that's shout out to Brad Holmes, because everybody went with all the highlights from the Mike Greens and the Shamar Stores, everybody that they're showing on TV, but this guy.
Yeah.
But then when they seen this guy, they said, whoa, wait a minute. That's the type of guy I would want on my team. The dude said on the phone, Coach, I would die for you.
I would die for you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
When have you seen a player say something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Come on now.
Perfect guy to crush the can.
Yep.
Guy to crush the can.
Come on now.
Another thing too, man, because I don't, if we gonna compare him to, other potential prospects. See, I only take into account guys that fit the archetype of our defensive line and what we was missing. So if outside of and Abdul really don't even fit, but he's big enough to play wherever. But I look at the Mikael Williams of the world, the Shamar Stewarts, the Nick Scortons, the Jordan Birches, those kind of guys, fit that archetype. Well, a lot of people, they only look at numbers and only look at stats. Well, if we go on that route, he outperformed all those guys in the last 2 years. He had 22 sacks. That was more than Scorton, more than Mikael, more than Stewart, more than Jordan Birch. What we talking about? What we talking about?
Yeah.
And we got him where we got him at. That's great value. Like, y'all quit sleeping on my nigga Brad Holmes, man. He's gonna find the talent. Y'all get caught up in these rankings and these rounds, and you gotta learn how to blur the lines. You gotta learn how to read between the lines. You gotta learn how to find the talent that not only talent, but what fits our culture and what fits our scheme.
I think people need to change the perspective of how draft works and come out of it from a media standpoint and come to it as a GM and coaching and scouting standpoint. A lot of you guys don't. Y'all think that y'all are major scouts. Y'all only going by what y'all see.
They just watching ESPN.
What they see on ESPN, what they're showing in the media, what guys they think is going to be good, and don't really. A lot of the guys that I see make these comments don't even watch college football. Don't even watch college football until the season's end and it's draft time and it's senior bowls and they showing all these highlights on the NFL network, and then that's the guy, there it is. Let the guy who's been paid to do the job do the job. Let the guy
it's like propaganda, man. It's like the media control what you see and hear.
So shout out to this young man. Welcome to the D. And listen, we look forward to extending your story. For real. It's definitely going to be this one got a chance to be a remarkable story.
I just got one caveat for him. Please don't die for Dan Campbell, man. Don't die for real. Just play.
He can have a near-death experience.
I mean, as long as he come back and second quarterback, he'd be good.
Yeah,
right.
Listen, bring him back. He is from Egypt, so you already know what transpired several thousand years ago. They raised him back from the dead. You know what I mean? There we go. Now let's move on, man. We're gonna go on to our 7th round pick, of course. Dan Jackson out of Georgia. Wide receiver out of Georgia. 2019 he redshirted. 2020 did not.
He's not a wide receiver, safety.
Yeah, I'm sorry, safety. I'm thinking about the other safety. 2021 played all 15 games with 4 starts for the national championship. Of course, that year 2022 he played 7 games with 1 start, won the national championship again. 16 tackles, a tackle for loss, interception, pass breakup that season. He missed some time with a foot injury. 2023 played in 11 games with 1 start, 20 tackles with an interception. 2024 he had a 3rd team All SEC, played in 14 games with 13 starts, 64 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 3 pass breaks up, a block kick, and a field goal block as well. So we're
There
gonna
you
check out
go.
some Dan
Mhm.
Jackson highlights. Um, see what he looking like out here.
Caucasian safety.
Mhm.
This 17 looks terrible.
Played the ball. That's good.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
Mhm.
is.
He look like a linebacker out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Not
Mm.
scared to
This one he
down
had
the
is
hit.
one of his best games against Texas this year.
Go up and get it.
Mhm.
Almost got some dark, huh? Good missile.
Oh yeah.
See a culture fit.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
He missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of Sion Vaki in him. I see a Swiss Army knife, special
I-
teams, supreme.
Yeah, I see. He's like a safety version of Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
safety version of Campbell, man. He comes
Yeah.
down. He's gonna hit. He's gonna stick. That's like I said, backup roller course. Could be future in years to come because, like I said, we just locked up our safety. Special teams.
Special teams.
Yeah.
There you go.
Definitely.
That's
Yeah.
that's big move for special
Yeah.
teams. So
There you go.
guy got some size to him,
Yeah.
and he comes down to hit. So
He got a little juice to him too, man.
Yeah.
He got a little juice.
The only question need about him is just his durability.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just his durability. I had no other, like I say, I have no other questions. You know what I'm saying?
So
Concerns.
I want to give Wise Man take on it. He said Dan Jackson, he's all attitude. He shows up with reckless abandon.
Mhm.
Former walk on, never had a full ride. Got it out
Mhm.
the mud, can cover,
Yeah.
and will be a great special teamer and backup.
Yep.
I mean, the jury's still out on him being a backup. He got to have range. In his tape, I saw a little bit of range, but I want to see how much ground he can cover when that ball in the air, or even if he can minimize some of that time by being able to dissect what's going on in front of him and being half a tick ahead of where his speed might think he would portray him to be at. But special teamers for sure, man. He fits the mold. He's a missile. So on punt coverage and kick coverage, I can see him being an asset to that unit. And our guys, man, we play 3 levels, man. Offense, defense, special teams. It's not just about, the 2, man. We play complementary football. So, special teams is important over here. And our GM just put a stamp on that, by bringing him in and the other linebacker we brought in free agency. Obviously we want to get some youth there, some more athleticism, some explosion. And I think this guy be good on coverage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. So with that being said, and Jackson, welcome to the D, my brother.
Welcome to the D, bro.
Now, with our final pick in the 7th round,
Woo!
Detroit Lions select.
Ooh,
Dominic,
yeah.
love it.
Georgia.
Georgia. Overall pick 244. Now, this one, he started out in Missouri. 2021 played in all 13 games with 6 starts. 2022, he was at Missouri, second team All SEC, led the team with 56 receptions and 846 yards.
Mhm.
2023, he played in all 14 games with 7 starts. 2024, he led the team, and that's Georgia team, with 59 receptions, 607 yards, 10.3 yards per reception, six receiving TDs, and he played all 14 games with 7 starts. Let's check out this young man's highlight reel and see what he's working with. No Diddy.
No
Whoa,
Diddy.
whoa! This is a football podcast, man.
Mm. Boy, got that
Yeah,
quick to
he
him.
got that speed. I like. Yep. Nice hands.
Almost.
All right, so that was Dominic Lovett out of Georgia. So I will go ahead and let me go ahead and give Wiseman take on him. Possible future Khalif Raymond replacement. Plays with the edge. He's a playmaker. Reminds him more of a polished and fluid Isaiah Williams that we drafted from Illinois a couple years back. That's Wiseman take on him. DC, well, what you looking for in
I
regards to this young man?
I agree with what Wiseman said. Possible Khalif replacement. A guy that you see Lovey. He has good hands. He's a good route runner. He has some a lot of good. He has most of good games with Georgia. See a guy that can, you need him in certain situations. You can draw him in some gadget plays. Certain gadget plays you can put him out there. He could guy that can he's not the type of guy that could actually stretch the field all the way like a JMO, but the guy that he can somebody could play in the slot, very like a possession receiver. So he got nice hands. I want him, like I said, just want him to continue to grow and learn the game. In the NFL level, he'll be fine.
Not bad at that.
Yeah.
I rock it, dog. Unfortunately, we don't have enough room on this roster for him. He's potentially a practice squad guy, but I don't see him making the roster. I think he's going to have to use his opportunities and special teams to try to get on the field. Right now, that wide receiver room is pretty stacked. I do agree that at some point we're gonna have to replace Leaf. I've actually, and Leaf kind of put the sock in my mouth because the last couple of years I wanted like a dynamic playmaker, in that punt return, kick return spot.
And every time you said something,
Every time I said something, Leaf just popped off. So he shut me up. He kept shutting me up. So, I still rock with Leaf. He one of our guys, on our day one guys. But this could possibly be a replacement, but I don't see it. I see this guy as, being a practice squad guy and, maybe flashing and somebody come through and snatch him up. We just don't have the room on the roster for him. But shout out to him for being drafted living out his dream of making it to the league. Like, everybody don't get to do that. Everybody don't get to say that. So shout out to him. I wish him the best. I just think it's gonna be tough sledding for him, to get on the field. But another dope prospect that our guy, found for sure.
Right. So yeah, I see him as a prove-it player. Like I said, going in the 7th round, like you said, with the depth that we have at the receiver position, he's got to show that he has to be able to beat out some of the veteran guys that we may have, or some of the guys that comes in and out of roster that we bring in and out from, like, the practice squad, if he can take that role. But like I said, it's been guys that been in this position and it shined and put themselves ahead of a lot of guys. So he has the opportunity, and that's what he's going to need to do to make this team, is take advantage of whatever opportunities he have. When he's in training camp, when he's out there working, he got to catch every pass. He got to make all the plays on special teams. He's going to have to make a name for himself for him to make this roster and beyond. But all in all, just by looking for what he offered over in Georgia, he's coming from a place where, Brett Holmes said the way that they practice is hard. So that's why, Brett Holmes is really high on these Georgia players and picking up a lot of these Georgia players and Alabama players, just for the simple fact of how hard of a regimen that they have with those guys. So he's going to make other guys work. I can see that. And like you said, best of luck to him. Welcome to the D, Dominic Lovett.
I've love it. Welcome to the D, boy.
All right. So with that being said, I'm going to give y'all grades, man. So with this draft, give your grades of what you think, what this draft class was for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, DC.
I'm gonna give it a B+.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm giving it a B+.
What about you, Juan?
I think a lot of this class won't really truly be evaluated for another 3-4 years, as is most classes. But I think with these guys, because they're not expected to step in and play right away, like, you won't be able to see the progression that you see in, normal draft classes, because of the state of the roster that we have right now. Like, we pretty stacked. So a lot of these guys not going to get enough looks for us to truly be able to evaluate them. So for that, I'm going to have to give this one a to be continued, man.
No, you did that last year, man. No, you got to give a damn grade, man. Don't do that to us again, man.
But look at the draft class last year.
Man.
But look at our draft class last year. Can you truly put an evaluation on any of them guys other than Terrion?
Not really, but still.
Our roster was in the same space.
Man, just come on and give a grade.
All right, so if I got to give a grade, man, I'm gonna be a little harsh because I still got to see more. So I'm gonna go with a C+.
C+, okay. I'm going to go with a C+, too. I'm gonna go with C+, too. Like I said, because we're with this, it's not too many guys in this draft class that I feel, like you said, it's going to come in right away and be an impact. So this is a future draft class. So we know they come from great programs. You see the guys he drafted, they come from great programs and got a lot of great upside. The guys, they put up great numbers. They're all like all Americans and all conference players. So it's a C+ for me because of what you said. Like I said, it's not something that we're going to see now. We're going to see later. It's all about development with these guys, and that's where coaching comes in at with this draft class. It's important that we develop these players for the future sake, just because there's a lot of guys that feel like we're going to lose some of the guys that we currently have because we drafted so great that these guys are going to get paid. So we need these guys to be developed to take over for these other guys, because these guys are going to go off and get paid because we drafted so well Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, but we got to give these guys time because if you just look at the prospects individually, Tesla used to be a quarterback. Hussein was a CrossFit guy. Radlich, we about to play him try him out at 3 different positions. So it's like their course load is just not starting. Like they're far from complete.
Well, they may not start right away, but you can see for the future standpoint, you can see the more they learn from these veterans, the growth they're going to have. They're going to be better. And this is what I say. I give it a grade. For me, I gave it a B+ because I'm not saying it for the now. I'm saying it for the future with these guys that we drafted, and we like even some of the guys that we drafted last year. They're the future of these guys. How because we're going to lose some of these older guys eventually. It's in the future of these guys. They got to play hard. They want to get a
circle of life.
Yeah.
So I want to give Wiseman his take on the grades is he said overall B+. He said he loved the depth that we got, loved the dogs that we brought in, versatile lineman, maybe our new replacement for the interior, wide receiver replacement. He still wanted an edge, but I feel like Big Z is coming back.
I feel like Big Z coming back too.
I believe Big Z is gonna come back once we in training camp or once we in preseason. There's no rush to bring them back. Let's say we got our draft. Let's sign our draftees. We already extended the guys that we need to. Let's take care of all of that, and we can go ahead and bring them on. Shout out to
Big A. You see what Big A saying?
Big A don't be cursing. What the hell is this problem? Listen, fellas, we had another great show today, man.
Yes, sir.
It's been a great time here in the city. Tigers was playing lights out.
Let me get to this Tigers right
hold
quick.
on, before we do that, I forgot. We got to a little bit too. This Shedeur Sanders thing. I know there's a lot of mixed emotions on this one from a lot of people. Let me give my my spill on it, and I think it was a combination of things. It was a combination of they was trying to teach him a lesson, and it's a combination of him being a little bit too out there and arrogant in regards to where he thought he was projected to go. Now, that's another thing that people can mention. When we talk about projections, he was projected to go in the first round, actually be a top 10 pick, but did not end up getting drafted to day 3. So the whole projection thing just got thrown out the window. But with him, you got an opportunity now, brother.
Ooh.
I'm not even gonna say humble yourself. I'm gonna say lock in. Eliminate all this stuff around you. And I think that's the problem. It wasn't just the fact that everybody said why he can't be arrogant and cocky. It's not just that. It's the fact that his leadership was in question. He didn't show anything during the whole drafting process as far as like him throwing against competition wise. Even throughout his career in college, the biggest stage, we never seen him play anybody that was worthy of him saying that he beat. And now you end up with this situation. Your dad said he was going to control where you was going to get landed. That rubs some people the wrong way. You did interviews that people didn't counter into, and then you have all these other elements that you're trying to be more of a social media presence than you are that you want to be a football player. And I think that affected his draft. Because now I also feel like there was some things that the NFL and GMs and everybody was sending a message to him, not to him, but through him for any other guys that feel that they're going to come in and feel like they could dictate to where they want to go. Don't do it. Do your interviews. Show yourself worthy, no matter where you think you're going to go, because at any given time they can say no. Because for one, I always feel like he wasn't a day one starter coming in. Anyway.
I agree.
So why draft him that high if he wasn't going to start day one? That's what they did. But he could have went a little bit early, but it was like, no, you know what I'm saying?
It seemed like they were trying to make a point.
A point. And
teach him a lesson.
And they made the point loud and clear. Now he needs to make a point and work his tail off and go out there and win a position and become the player quarterback that a lot of people think that he can be in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. You did the words you just hit on. Like he said, he can't blame nobody but himself in this situation. You can't go out there and you demand what I want to play for this, get drafted to this team and be arrogant in these interviews. You can't do that because teams, you got to think about and understand too. There are other teams, other GMs talk to other GMs. Right. They may be competitive, but they sit up here making phone calls talking about this player, that player. You know what I'm saying? They behind the scenes doing all that. So in that situation, you can't just go in there, just walk in, you just think that I'm this, I'm that. You gotta walk, you gotta walk in, you gotta be humble. You gotta be humble yourself, man. You gotta be professional with it, man. So like I said, it sucks that he went all the way, he got picked in the and went all the way to the 5th round just to get picked, but he can't blame nobody but himself in that situation.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because he is having to be the poster child of, the new norms, the social media divas, the streamers, these NIL check cashers. But I think a lot of stuff was going against him though. First of all, I told Big Willie this months ago. I said Shedeur Sanders is not a first-round quarterback. He's a second, third-round talent, but he might get pushed up to the front because the quarterbacks do every year. Yep. But my thing with him is I've never been really that impressed with Shedeur, and I think that's kind of the same with a lot of scouts. I think they see potentially a good player, but then when you weigh in all the stuff that comes with it, including the fact that I read a story that is known throughout the league that his pops, Dsn Sanders, is looking for a head coaching position, and what better way to get one than to follow your son the same way he got the Colorado job and he got the Jackson State job,
high school job.
High school, because that's usually how it goes. In order for a coach to elevate, he has to have coached a player to that level, and then he follows them, like Jalen Brunson, daddy, different stuff like that. But he got a lot going against him because he's the poster child, and they wanted to send a message. So I think that's tough. But like you said, the only way to combat that is to go out there and prove the people wrong. But he got 4 quarterbacks he got to beat out, man. So that's gonna be tough for my boy.
No, let me tell you this. All them 5 quarterbacks Cleveland got, I guarantee 1 or 2. Kenny Pickett's not going to be there. I'm just limiting that right now. Kenny Pickett is not going to be there. So I mean, you got Dylan. They drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. He's going. We know he ain't going to see the field. Deshaun Watson, he ain't going to see the field because he can't never stay healthy for the life of him. So this could be an opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to prove everybody wrong.
Right.
This is an opportunity. So
I want to get Wiseman. Want to give his say. He said he got blackballed. Plain and simple. He's better than a lot of those QBs that went before him. What was done to him was disgraceful, disgusting, despicable, disrespectful, and this you want to put in front of it. Now, I want to say this though: all those quarterbacks that went ahead of him, they were deemed coachable and deal withable.
Deal withable.
They're deal withable and they're coachable. And one thing about Shedeur Sanders, you haven't seen him being coached outside of Dsn Sanders.
This is true.
It's like you said, it was a lot of elements with him. Talent is there, but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't, he needed to be first selected. But like I said, if he was likable, if he was that likable guy, they would have drafted him. Like, listen, I like him. I know he needs some coachable things, but if he was likable and in what he presented himself, like he doesn't, I don't care about my celebrity. I'm going to show you guys that I want to be he doesn't give off that he wants to play football for real. He gives off, I want to play football on the side of, I need to have everything else and the spotlight. And and I feel like that's what rubbed a lot of these GMs wrong. Like, can we Can we, you know what I'm saying, put all the chips in on the franchise? Is he that franchise quarterback
Right.
of the future? Can we put all our chips in on this guy? And it was a lot of questions with that. And on top of the other politics, of course, but it was a lot of questions behind him. We got our boy popped in. I guess he wanted to give his take in on this Shedeur situation. Go ahead, Big A, man. Give your take, man.
I have a problem with people wanting to say, "Oh, poor Shedeur, he got blackballed, he got this." Like at some point, this is a problem with people today. Self accountability, bro. Like from the whole beginning of the whole little circus they were putting on, you could just see this whole situation was gonna be a train that was getting derailed. You know what I'm saying? The boy only wanted to meet with the top 5 teams, and then his interviews was even horrible then. Like, how do you think you're gonna diss these other teams who telling you, hey, we want you to come meet with us, and then you telling them, oh, I ain't gonna meet with y'all because I ain't gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so when those top 5 teams don't take you, don't expect these other teams to circle back around after you done dissed them and told them, oh, I ain't interviewing y'all. And this was another thing, like I was telling Big Willie about this. I said, if you remember the thing with his daddy, when they was at Colorado, dudes couldn't wear no hats in the meeting rooms and none of that, right? But did those rules go for him? Apparently not, because what did he do? He showed up to the combine with his hat to the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point in time, like, self-accountability needs to be showed up. Like, this whole thing went this way. And I'm going to give you another point. Look at the videos when he was working out with Cam Ward. Cam Ward was on his head about, like, dude, how you hopping on the field? You ain't got your cleats on, bro. We ain't even did no work. And you already want to drink water. This is a Shedeur thing. And listen, this ain't college where your daddy coaching. This ain't the high school where your daddy coaching. We don't have to deal with you, man. That's the thing people don't want to. It ain't he got blackballed, he got this, he got that. Listen, man, people don't want to deal with it. Don't tell me you don't want to interview with me. Then when the team that you thought was going to take you didn't take you, now you say, oh, poor me. Nah, man. Like,
he was all.
It's a tough pill he got to. Listen,
he was
bro.
all giving the praises to Jesus. Then he kind of switched up his tone in when it's look
listen,
at
bro.
day
I'm
3.
telling you, bro. Yeah, homeboy got hit with that humble hammer, man. Like, is this as simple as that, dude? Simple as that.
Uncle Ruckus.
Humble hammer.
Hey, listen. It ain't. Listen. It ain't the thing about being cocky. Cause look, bro, we done had cocky players, bro. You know what I'm saying? We done had players come in there. Hey, you know, they got the confidence out the thing, you know, out the world. I mean, look at Pac-Man Jones when he came in, all of that. But the thing about it is, bro, you're not going to tell these teams, I'm not interviewing with you for what? I'm not going to be there. Like, you're not going to tell these teams what you want to do. Oh, if you ain't trying to change your culture, don't draft me, then. Listen.
And your daddy telling teams, if he don't like the position that you want to be in, then don't draft.
Exactly. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is the NFL. It ain't about being no Uncle Ruckus. I'm sorry, Shedeur. You can't have your concerts at halftime in the locker room. We ain't doing it. You know, we ain't doing all of the celebrities on the sideline. Like I say, he set his son up for failure from the start of how everything was going down there at Jackson.
That's cap.
That carried over to Colorado. All of that circus and buffoonery. All of that is why that boy. Look what happened to him.
Why is
another thing I would say, I want to say this too, and I know people are gonna say, well, they're gonna bring up, you know what I'm saying, the Mannings and the Manziels and the Mayfields, and I say this not just for football, but in life in general in America, we are not them.
It's different strokes for different folks.
And the ones that's in control of the NFL, they got certain ways they're gonna want to do and see how things are, and you're not going to tell them where you're going to want to go. I don't care. He's not that talented, bro. He's not that talented. Bro, like, it's crazy. He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he is not that talented where he can be able to dictate, and they're not going to say, oh, really? His services is like, do we really need his services? Do you really need Shedeur Sanders' services? Is he better than 32 quarterbacks in the league right now? They're starting for these 32 teams. Is he better than any of them right now? He may be better than the quarterbacks getting drafted, but he's not better than the 32 that start for these teams right now. So his services are not technically needed.
I'm telling you, bro, it's like this, bro. It's a way you go about stuff, bro. And again, what people gotta realize: have anybody seen Shedeur being coached outside of his dad? Look when his dad wasn't on the side of him. Look how he carried himself. You know what I'm saying? And my thing about this, bro, that's one thing about the league, man. That's why you can have some dudes. I mean, we look at it all the time. Look how many dudes is super talented but can't stay in the league, whether it's any major sports. You have that guy that's coachable, who the coaches like, they can keep a job. Like they about to deal with that, bro.
Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing. You gotta really listen. We don't have to draft you.
There you go.
You don't have to draft you. And now you got that opportunity. And like I said, take advantage of it. But let there be a lesson to some other ones that feel that they can control their destiny. You can control your destiny in certain ways, but
to a certain extent.
But it's ways to go about it. Go through the due process. Don't say yourself a disservice. Go through the due process like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a job interview. You could be confident, know that you can do the job, but if you sit in front of these people and they looking at you like, do I really want to work beside him or have him working for my company? Is it really worth it?
Hey Willie, can I touch on this, right? In the same people that's going to be like, oh, you know, they bringing up the LeBron James and Bronny thing, right? Again, LeBron is likable, Deion is not, and look how that whole thing. Look at the way that was carried out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a certain way you do things. There's a certain way you do things, and the way they was trying to do that stuff, and his daddy in the background calling these organizations and all, dude, that was just like I don't know if y'all saw what Shiloh was saying. He's like, yeah, our daddy was our Asian, but that ain't working out. He made it a joke, but I think that was real talk. Like, you know, this ain't really working out.
It came to, it was a lot of it was a more that came with him than it did with any other draft prospect in this in this class. And that's what people don't realize. Listen, a lot of this stuff was brought upon itself. You didn't hear this from any other draft prospects, bro. And the fact that he's already, the thing was that the fact that he was Deion Sanders' son is in most areas should have been enough. But it was everything else that he and his father brought to this situation that deterred and rubbed people the wrong way, and this is what the outcome. So let this be a lesson, brother. Go out there and work yourself into getting that position now. Let the naysayers prove the naysayers wrong, and for the guys that's coming up in these drafts, and you feel like you this type of way, go through the process, and we will probably won't have this issue. Looks like Coach Boy must have dropped off. But anyway, listen, we've been on for a while now, man. We're gonna have to get ready to get up out of here. So we're gonna do, man, we're gonna go ahead and get these final thoughts for the day. Since that you just abruptly joined us, Big A, go ahead and get your final thoughts, man, if you got some.
I mean, to Pistons, man, Willie, we already talked about this. Kane got to be in the 30-point range for them to win, man. And then the Lions, I don't know, a C for me. Lions, I mean, the trajectory of the Lions ain't it to me. It ain't good. I know he suffered a lot of injuries, but they gotta right this shit, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know. We might just have to get used to just making the playoffs the way they move, man. So that's all I got.
DC.
Pistons, like I said earlier, you got the opportunity to bring this back to Game 6 on Thursday. Go out there. You come up with you can't come out with another slow start. Need the veterans to step it up a little more. You can't cut. You need to help Cade Cunningham out. And then Isaiah Stewart back. Hoping to get Isaiah Stewart back. So we'll see what happens. And they say the Pistons do lose in 5. It's a hell of a season, hell of a turnaround. As far as with the Lions, like I said, I gave it a B plus with this draft. Of course, not an A like the Eagles. Howie Roseman, yeah, Willie, Howie Roseman, best GM in football. You know it. You know that. So we're not about to have this conversation. I don't want you bringing up this whole he's been there a long time. I don't want to hear all that. Howie Roseman, best GM in football. But yeah. Far as I want to say, Tigers best record in the American League in baseball. Tigers keep doing what you're doing. Swept the Baltimore Orioles, and we missed a couple of guys at Parker Meadows, and so Tigers are going to continue to do what you do. Third best record in baseball. You'll be fine. I ain't worried about it. Tigers, we're gonna be in the World Series this year. But yeah, man, those final thoughts, man. Those are really my final thoughts, man.
All right, so now that DC is done riding Howie Roseman's meat, I can give my final thoughts. With that being said, listen, this is a great time to be a Detroit sports fan. Whether you like it or not, draft is always entertaining around. It's been entertaining for the last couple of years. We look forward to seeing who's right and who's wrong. It makes for a great conversation. With the Pistons finally being in the playoffs, and we've been void of that for some years. We're finally being able to see what the other side looks like. We're finally be able to see what talent in this city looks like when it comes to basketball and coaching. So that's a plus. Like I said, spring is among us, so that brings on baseball, and the fact that the Tigers is where they're at right now, it just makes things that more entertaining. And the winner of all of this is the city of Detroit and Detroit sports fans. We can't ask for much more than what we're getting right now. If we could have got the Red Wings in the playoffs, it would have had the whole trifecta, or the quad, for all four teams being able to taste the postseason. But it looks like it's coming along. So whatever time frame that we have right now, it gives us opportunity to come and have these discussions like this, and that's why we like to do what we do here at Dynasty Sports Network with this podcast when we talking sports, Detroit sports, and all the other sports around the world. This is what we like to do, and we love the fact that you guys is rocking with us, man. So with that being said, listen, take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Dynasty Sports Network. We see y'all next time.
Next time.